An Oscar movie that I just saw recently that I really liked a lot, Triangle of Sadness,
Hmm.
directed by Ruben Östlund. I think it's kind of a masterpiece.
You think so?
From his like filmography, when we talk about filmmakers that we like, we have like our fame. Like we were talking about just with Tarantino, how he makes good movies, but they're movies about the past, and he's
Hmm.
not necessarily like hitting with the zeitgeist.
Hmm.
This movie, Triangles of Sadness, is fucking hitting on the fucking zeitgeist, dude. Like it's like he's like, this is the era we're living in. I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell this story. We're gonna talk about like what the time we're living in, like commentary wise, society wise, even like technology wise, and how we that affects how we interact with people. And it's dope. And the whole his whole style is really cool.
It's like cuttingly modern, you know?
Yeah,
Did he do that in The Square? I never saw The
the
Square.
square. Yeah, the square is modern.
Hmm.
Force Majeure is modern.
Hmm.
He's like very much a modern filmmaker, and he's like, I'm gonna make a movie about what's going on now. I was kind of blown away by it a little bit, and I'd seen The Square before. I thought, oh, it's all right. It's pretty pretentious. It won the Palme d'Or.
Hmm.
That's why I saw it. 'Cause I want to see like all the Palme d'Or films because they're always like pretty good. And
Triangle one, Palm d'Or.
Triangle of Sadness won Palme d'Or, and The Square won Palme d'Or. And Ruben
Hmm.
Östlund is the only like there's only like two other filmmakers that have won two Palme d'Ors,
I know.
and that's Francis Ford Coppola won the Palme d'Or, I think, for The Godfather and The Conversation,
Hmm.
and then Victor Sjöström. Victor Sjöström is a famous director from Sweden,
Hmm.
like pre Bergman era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot the names of the movies, but he plays the guy, the main character in Wild Strawberries.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Bergman was saying that was his favorite director of all time, and he was really honoring him in Wild Strawberries. So that's
Yeah,
really cool.
I think Ruben Östlund is sick, and it's cool to have a new Swedish guy. Like I look forward to seeing his more of his output.
Hmm. But you are Swedish. He represents something that is familiar to you.
Mm,
But yeah, Triangle of Sadness is basically you follow this couple. They're kind of influencer. Well, she's an influencer. He's like trying to be a model.
they're both models.
They're both models. So they get invited this free trip on a yacht, and the yacht is just full of all these rich people that are kind of useless to society, but they're so freaking rich.
Yeah,
Not that they're useless, but they don't really bring anything to advance humanity. And they're all enjoying their time on this yacht. And it's just the juxtaposition of all the super rich people, the staff, and then the cleaning crew that's even below the staff.
mm-hmm.
I just love the way they have that commentary woven throughout the movie of class, but not just class. It gets to the root of class, of power. Who holds power and
Yeah,
why do they hold power?
yeah.
And that's what really made the movie for me.
I think it's interesting how they take these two characters that are supposed to be very vapid and
Mm-hmm.
kind of gives them like a more of a dimensional
Mm-hmm.
feel to it. And it talks a lot about like gender roles. They talk about how like, oh, women want all these, they want to be equal and everything, but they still want men to like take care of them and pay for them and stuff, even if they are making the same amount of money or more money,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting discussion that I think is coming about nowadays with
Mm-hmm.
gender identities and stuff too.
But I love that scene at the beginning.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Where they're fighting over the dinner, and
Yeah.
then she's like, yeah, I did do that to you on purpose.
Mm,
But she's like, but my reasoning is I need to know if you can take care of me if I'm pregnant, or if I
mm,
need to take care of a child or something.
mm.
Like there is a very naturalistic need that we have as humans for these things that start petty argument.
They go on this luxury cruise together, and like you said, there's all these like different characters. It's like kind of the ensemble piece of all these characters. You got like the rich people who are living the life, and you got the crew members who are told to say yes to everything that they get requested, literally like everything. And then you got Woody Harrelson as the captain, who's
Mm-hmm.
fucking amazing. He's a communist. He's a Marxist. He's not a communist. He's like, I'm not a communist. I'm a Marxist. And
Mm-hmm.
there's
He's a Marxist American.
yeah, yeah, and he gets in this huge debate with this other guy, Slatlo Buric, I'm a big fan of him because he's in all the Pusher films,
He is, yeah.
and he's in Copenhagen Cowboy. Basically, like story wise, they're all in this luxury ship, and then everyone gets food poisoned, and everyone's shitting and pissing themselves and throwing up everywhere, and then they get attacked by pirates.
Mm-hmm.
So they get shipwrecked. I think everyone pretty much dies except
Everyone
for like,
dies, yeah.
yeah, yeah, everyone dies and you
Yeah.
don't even like see it, but they end up on this island where all these people who are like super affluent and influential in the real world and our society and
Hmm.
civilization like become useless.
Hmm.
And then the crew, one of the crew becomes like the one that's at the bottom of society, the Filipino girl Abigail
Hmm.
becomes is capable of surviving on the island
Hmm.
and has to start taking care of everyone else, but she becomes
Hmm.
the top of the hierarchy and everyone has to work for her because she knows how to like actually survive in this on this island. So we got this like Lord of the Flies thing going on,
Yeah.
where everything is flipped. Civilization is an island, then those like rich people are like in power. But then if we like go to like an actual island, like it's all like the metaphor of an island, then when it comes to like basic survival instincts, that means like the crew, like more salt of the earth people are gonna be able to take over, and that's their territory. That's like what they have control over, and then you can kind of see how that power kind of goes to this girl's head a little
Hmm.
bit
Hmm.
too, because she starts taking advantage of people kind of more unnecessarily, but people have to do what she says because they want to survive on this island. They're shipwrecked and stuff, and that was a really interesting commentary. I just love the structure of this film, how we go from in the mainland in London and stuff, and then we go to on the ship, and then we like the last third is on this island.
I love the third act. The third act blew me away. I was talking to someone, and the menu came out last year too, and it seems like whenever I talk to
Oh, dude,
people, they
yeah,
either like the menu or they like Triangle of Sadness. There's no in between. Personally, for me, I like Triangle of Sadness.
yeah. I think Charles Size is way better than the menu, and it's like, yeah, they did such a better job of explaining things and the menu was like I didn't like the menu very much. It didn't make any sense, like the motives of
Mhm.
people, and it is like very much like the menu, the same sort of commentary. But this was just like done way better and it's like artistically more sound. And the menu is very Hollywood.
Well, I think the menu is about indulging in like upper class and things that don't really bring any benefit to other people.
Mhm.
But I think Triangle of Sadness really deals with something deeper than that. It's like who holds the power in what situation. I love the third act of Triangle of Sadness because people are like, Abigail, she's like turns into like this evil monster or something. I'm like, no, she's not doing anything different than what they would do on the mainland.
Yeah,
Because everyone wants to hold on to their power where they can.
yeah,
And she's holding on to the power she has in a very different situation, but she's still in control because that's what anyone would do. And that's
yeah,
what has happened to her all her life. So when the ending is going to get into spoiler territory, when she tries to cover up the whole thing at the end,
yeah,
I don't think it really matters if she did it or not.
yeah,
The commentary's there of like how far we go to hold on to the power we have. And it's not about if you're an American Marxist or if you're a Russian capitalist.
hmm
It's do you hold power in your structure?
It's a commentary about like how power changes people.
Hmm.
It's a commentary about how money changes people. It's a commentary about how like war changes people. She's like helpless in the beginning because like when you don't like have anything to offer, you gotta like be nice to people.
Hmm.
And you don't have any like skills or anything, like you're not gonna have any power, not gonna have any say so. And then when she finally gets that power, she's like, yeah, she kind of does turn into a monster. She doesn't go about it in a way that's like nice. She's just like in this position of power, which people, once they get into power, they definitely change their personalities and stuff.
I love how the main character we follow kind of just becomes a whore. And
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's what he can bring to the table.
yeah,
That's what he does to survive.
yeah,
And I love it. You just feel like you try to relate to this character and he's kind of an asshole. Like he's like very like vapid. And then at the end you just see what he could bring to the table is just his body and his good looks.
yeah. Well,
And
that's what he brings to society too, is his body and his good looks.
yeah.
His triangle of sadness.
Hmm.
And I love this scene. I love the opening scene a lot. Like like he's talking to all the models, and they're like Balenciaga, H&M, Balenciaga, H&M, and it's like they're switching between.
Yeah.
And they're like the more luxury brands are more like, oh, like we're better than you. Like don't even look at us. Like we're the shit. And then like H&M, which is more mainstream, lower quality, is like, hey, we're trying to have a good time. We're like trying to sell like sort of like just to normal people. But Balenciaga is like, no, you can't have this. This is our club. Woody Harrelson is fucking amazing in this.
He's just an alcoholic.
Yeah, alcoholic Marxist, and maybe sometimes it's a little too preachy with the message and stuff. It's still like really good,
Hmm.
and the commentary like of them and him and like Zlatko Buric having that debate, and they're like reading quotes from Marx, and like he's reading quotes from like capitalists, and then he's reading quotes from like Marxists or like communists. That was really cool. And then they literally like are locked themselves in the captain's cabin, getting drunk, like giving a bunch of like either capitalist or Marxist rhetoric,
Hmm.
and that's while the fucking ship is just everyone's they're in the storm and they're seasick
Hmm.
and shit is coming out of the drains and it's just going everywhere, like leaking all over like the fucking corridors and stuff. And it's just like, but I love the way he builds scenes. Like I love the drama, how he's able to like build a scene up. You see it in the beginning, you see it with dialogue on the ship and everything. Like he's able to like build a scene, and it's just really interesting. I thought it was very unique, and yeah, I like this film a lot. I think I would recommend it to people. There's a
Hmm.
lot to say. Like I said, it's hitting on the zeitgeist. It's very modern. It's the way it was like it's almost invisible the way it's shot. Like I was so into the story and stuff that I forgot about like
Hmm.
the filmmaking, and I look forward to more.
Yeah.
I think after this movie, like he became almost like a household name, and he's like 48. He's still got like shit to like say, bro. Like
Hmm.
he's gonna like I'm really looking forward to his
Yeah.
my Swedish brother, and
Hmm.
bro, it's cool.
Rip Charlbi Dean, dude. She
Oh
passed
yeah.
away like that. That's really sad. She was really good in this movie,
Hmm.
and it's really like unfortunate that she passed away so young because she was really talented in this.
Yeah, R.I.P. to her.